Good day, my friends, and welcome to today's episode of Make Today Mammoth. I am your host, Dallas Hardcastle, and I am super excited for you to be here. Today, we are going to talk about dispelling an old myth that this has been around for decades and maybe even hundreds of years. We're going to squash this baby. Have you ever heard the phrase, he or she who asks the questions controls the conversation? Have you heard that before? Especially in your business or sales. If you've ever heard that, I'm going to explain to you today why that is completely and utterly false in how it does not put you in control, but can put you into the weakened position. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome. We are so excited that you are here with us today. I again am your host, Dallas Hardcastle. If you are a first-time listener, I am very honored for you to be here. We appreciate you investing some time to learn more about us. Time, after all, is our most precious asset. So I honor you being here as a first-time listener, and thank you for checking us out. We are going to deliver on the promise of making this an awesome show for you. And if you're a returning listener, thank you very much. We appreciate you like crazy. The gentleman's agreement, the handshake agreement that we ask you, whether this is your first time or if you've listened to us before, is if you listen to this episode and if you like it, if you're getting value from it, if you like what we're doing, who we are, what we're about, how we help you, and knowing that we're here to deliver free information that doesn't cost you a penny and literally we have nothing to sell you, we would appreciate you just taking seconds or maybe a minute to go and leave us that 5-star review, and or maybe if you want to share it or subscribe to it. The reason we ask that is very, very simple. Since we're here doing this for free and we don't make money, actually it costs us money to do this stuff. The thing that helps us to be able to grow, to be able to help more people, to be able to move up in the algorithm so more people can find us, are sharing these likes, these comments, these 5-star reviews. Those are the things that allow us to be able to make the biggest difference, the biggest impact, because that is the only reason we are here. So with that said, have you heard before that it is the person who asks the questions controls the conversation? I heard this when I was pretty early into a sales career, and I took this baby to heart. So I would be the person, and I've been kind of, I think, inquisitive or a curious person most of my life anyway, so it kind of fit right in with who I was in the first place. So when I began selling, I got really good at asking questions. And that, after all, was kind of a bit of a mini hack for me, because someone who's excitable like me, who already has a lot of energy and works to create a lot of energy with the things I do, the routines, the habits, my diet, my eating, my exercise, blah, 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 all that other good stuff, that I have the energy and I have the curiosities to be able to ask questions. Here's the problem. And I just learned this maybe like in the past 10 years, and it hit me like the 2-ton heavy thing. It's not the person who asks the questions that controls the conversation. It's the person who gets the answers who controls the conversation. Let me explain this to you, because I didn't get this at first. And when I did, I was like, my God, what have I been doing? So the earlier, younger, even more maybe enthusiastic, excited version of me in the beginning of my sales career, as I said, first, of course, you're just talk. And then you start realizing, okay, maybe doing all the talking, maybe I need to start talking less. And then you start talking a little less. And then it's like, hey, whoever asks the questions controls the conversation. So I would get really good at asking questions, and the conversations would kind of go like this. So how long have you been doing this? I don't know, it's been a while. Oh, okay. So what kind of buying criteria you guys have? What are you looking for? We're not really exactly sure right now. Oh, okay, cool. So how long have you guys been thinking about this? I don't know. It's maybe been, it's like a few months, maybe a year or two. I'm not really sure. Oh, okay. So do you guys have a budget for this? No, really don't have a budget. Oh, okay. So you can, that is how my sales conversations would go. And I was really cool, right? Because there I was asking all of the questions. Question. 20 questions later, and guess what I had found out about the person, the situation, the place where they worked, the company, the corporation, the criteria? Guess what I learned? Very little, because I was just busy asking questions. What I then learned was the thing that hit me over the head, because asking all of these questions, I was just excitable. I was trying to be the person who was finding out the information, but ultimately what I was doing was just asking questions. So did it kind of put them at ease a little bit that I was so curious and I was asking all the questions? Yes. The problem was I wasn't getting answers most of the time. So sometimes in sales, the most important questions that we ever ask are almost always, in fact, they're the most difficult ones. And you can look at this in relationships too, right? Like if you have the hard conversation you've got to have with a friend, the difficult conversation you've got to have with your wife, your spouse, your loved one, the hard conversation you've got to have with an employee or a partner, the difficult, hard ones are where you got to get some answers to some questions. So it's not sitting down and asking questions and not getting answers. It's almost always embedded in, I've got some hard questions and I need to get some answers. Why has production stopped in the past month and suddenly you're selling less? Why are things starting to get disorganized in the back office when for the 6 months you were here, everything was great? Why, to my loved one? Why for the past, couple weeks, you've seemed like you're really uncomfortable or maybe even angry or depressed or sad? Things seem different. What's going on? Let's talk about it. What can I help you with? If we're in the sales conversation of, well, gosh, how long have you guys been thinking about those? Oh, I don't know, for a while. Well, the reason I'm asking that question is because. So when you say a while, does this mean like a week or two? Or is this something that's kind of been getting bounced around maybe for the past 6 months or even a year? Oh, no, we're probably closer to a year. Really? Okay. They have an awareness. They've had this awareness for a year. Not, well, somebody thought of this a week ago and asked me to bring in 4 or 5 people to have some conversations with them. This is not a week-long awareness or perhaps a week-long pain. This is now a year-long pain. They've had awareness of it, and they may not fully understand all of the downsides, all of the ripple effects, all of the consequences to this, but they have an awareness to this potential pain, and they've had it for now a year. What's the budget? I don't know. We're not really sure on that. We're still bouncing that around. Oh, cool. The reason I ask is because when we're doing this and we're looking at these options and these services and this type of equipment and these types of layouts and these types of support and this way of being able to do service support for you and setting up preventative things that can help you do this and move you along to do that and some additional stuff that helps you to be able to provide your stuff better to your people and your clients and your employees. If we get an idea on if this is going to be a $40,000 thing or a $200,000 thing or a $500,000 thing, it allows me to be able to start kind of creating these really cool, different solutions for you. So if it's 40,000, I can think of 3 or 4 different really cool things. But if it's more like 200,000. So if you were to guess at this stage, what about do you think that budget would be? We're not 40, but we're definitely not 200. We're probably in between there somewhere. We're maybe in that 100, 120. Okay, cool. I know it's been a thing on the radar for a year, and I know it's $100,000, $120,000 type of solution they're looking for, right? Who all's been in these meetings? Get the answer. Who's this affecting? Get the answer. What time frame are you looking to actually wanting to solve this? Get the answer. What are you hearing from other people? Get the answer. How do you think this is affecting your employees and your workforce and production? Get the answer, right? So anytime you hear going forward for the rest of your wonderful lives, he who asked the question, she who asked the question controls the conversation. No, immediately have that little trigger, right? That little trigger that Dallas gave you, hopefully, that's like, nope, it is not that. It is who gets the answers. Who gets the answers to these questions? And remember, when you're in a high leverage conversation, these critical conversations, there's a reason they're critical. There's a reason they're high leverage. The reason being is because usually we are seeking tough questions to maybe getting some tough answers, right? That's part of how it works, whether it's with a loved one, an employee, or a client. or a prospective client? These are the types of questions. But when we become really good at embracing this fact that we know that these are the ones that really ultimately matter, when you can be the one like, hey, I can see you're hurting. What's going on? And then getting an answer. Oh, I just, nothing. It's just a bunch of stuff happening. Is that where I want to end it? I ask the question, am I controlling the conversation? Or do I want to say, I understand this may be difficult. I understand this may be embarrassing, or you may be hurting, or you may even be grieving or angry still. But if I at least get a sense of what's going on, or if you'll just give me an idea of what this looks like, then I could potentially maybe be a better friend and be able to help solve this problem with you, or at least I can be a more empathetic listener because I get an idea of what's actually happening out there. You can do this with friends, with employees. If you're sitting down with a prospective client, it's like, I understand you may not want to share a little bit of this, and that's fine. But if I can get a sense of where this is, a sense of how big this is, a sense of how long this has been going on, a sense of who may be involved in this decision-making process, a sense of what kind of time frame or timeline we're looking at, a sense of the size or the scope, a sense of the different things and the different issues and problems you're trying to address, then I start to get really good. And when I get really good, man, are you going to benefit greatly. When I'm really good, man, do I wind up showing up for you in a big way. But you got to help me be really good. And with no information, because I haven't gotten answers to my questions, I'm pretty impotent. There's not a lot I can do, right? I've asked you 20 questions, but I got 2 answers. And the other 18 seemingly are unknown. There's not a lot I can do with that. Give me the information. Now I can start to be potent and really show up as an amazing husband, spouse, partner, friend, employer, boss, whatever that is for you. Okay? Get the answers, and you will not only control the conversation, but now you are in the position of being able to do the best that you can do and to be able to help the most that you're able to help. And now you get to show up as the king or the queen with the grand solution that can really make a difference for everyone. Friends, thank you so much for listening today. I appreciate you being here. My name again is Dallas Hardcastle. I hope this has been super helpful for you. I hope this is something that you can use right away. Thank you. And as always, make today mammoth, my friends. We appreciate you. We love you. And have a great rest of the day. We will talk with you again very soon.